Hey, what up, crazy crew? Welcome back. KC2Crazy here. Gonna be posting some gameplay in the One Piece sim. So I'm going to be showing you my Enel deck. Let's take a look at the Enel deck. Now here's our Slim Shady. With him, once you get down to 0, you are able to add a card from your deck over to your life area. Now, if you don't have a card in your hand, you can still add a life from your deck to your life area. So that's something that's very important to note. I'm running 2 Charlotte Crackers, and the reason I run this is because it has double attack. Double attack is where if you are able to hit the opponent's leader, you can take 2 of their life cards. The opponent's life needs to be at 2 or more for this to be effective. Okay, Shirahoshi running 4. It is a 1k counter, but most importantly, it is a searcher card. So it's able to draw 3 cards and trash 2 from your hand. I do not play this with 5 Dawn. I try to use it to get it off trigger, off a life. If you pull a life card, you're able to play this, go through 3 cards, and then throw 2 away. One of the bosses here is going to be Charlotte Katakuri. This card, when you play it, you can add a card either from your board to your life at the top or the bottom. If the opponent has a really powerful card, you can send theirs to the bottom or put it at the top of their life. I typically will try to either add Shirahoshi to the top of my life or Shura. So both of those are searchers, depends on what you're looking for at that moment. Capone Beige. Capone is really good, comes in clutch when you're lower on life. If you pull this as a trigger, basically what its ability does is it makes it so that you can choose one of the opponent's attackers or one of their characters that cannot attack that turn. Well, let's say they're going for lethal and they got it all planned out, but you pull Beige here, pull Capone, you're good to go. You can stop their lethal attack at that moment if everything goes in your favor. It also is a 2k counter, so that's why I like it a lot. Sanji, he's a blocker. I only run 2 of him. If you get him off of your life as a trigger, you can play him, but you have to discard a card from your hand. He has 5k power to swing with, so he's pretty good. Yamato, or as I say, Yamato over here, she's a 9-drop, and when you drop her, you can KO one of your opponent's characters that's equal to the life that both you and your opponent have. So let's say your opponent has 3 life cards and you have 2. If they have a 5-drop, so let's say like Geratsu over here, if they have a 5-drop on the board, you can send that to the trash. That's one of the reasons why I really like her. Now, the secondary part of her effect is if you have 1 or less life cards, when you play her, you add a life from your deck of cards. So you add a card from your deck, throw it over to your life. So she is going to back you up there with more life. Enel, I'm running 2 7-drops. He is a rush card. So when you play him, he can attack. He also has this ability where if he is going to be popped off your board into your trash, you can save him by discarding 1 of your life cards. I typically don't do that. That's just something that your opponent might think of when they're playing against you. Ohm is a really good card. He will search for Holy, which is over here. So he is a 4-drop and he's got a 5k attack. When you get down to 2 or less life cards, his power goes up to 6k. He is like a surprise for a lot of people. He becomes a surprise attacker, just like Geratsu over here, who has 6k power. But I really like him because you can search 5 cards. Now, when you're searching, if you don't find a Holy, but you have a Holy in your hand, you can still play the Holy in your hand and put it on the board. Let's say you have a Holy in your hand, you find a Holy when you're searching, you still want to take that Holy so you can add that extra 1k counter, because this is a 1k counter. Okay, Geratsu, really good. With Enel, I typically will not attack if I have some Geratsus in hand early on until they start putting characters on the board that are 5 or less cost. With him, he can pop anything off the board that is equal to or less than the opponent's life. So let's say they have a Sanji. He is a 4-drop, 4 cost there. So if he's a 4, you put Geratsu out, send him to the trash. Okay, Konus, 2k counter. That's basically all I use her for. So Satori is a 2k counter, but off of a trigger, you can also play Satori and trash a card from your hand. So that's also very good. You can use it on your next turn. Shura, I'm only running 2 Shura. Sometimes I run 4. You know, this is just, I switch it up every now and then. But Shura is a searcher. Again, like I said, you get him on your board. You can put him at the top of your life with Katakuri. So he's got a couple different applications. 1k counter. Holy, 1k counter, vanilla, so it doesn't do anything else. Charlotte Lin, this is really good. Sometimes I run 4, sometimes I run 3. I'm thinking about dropping it to 2. when you play her, the opponent has the option to either trash one of their life cards or they can grant you a life card. So if they give you a life card, you take it from your deck and you put it on top of your life. Typically speaking, your opponent is going to grant you that life card. So that's really good to manipulate your life. So it works in your favor. 2 Thunderbolt. Sometimes I run, 3 or 4 and I'll take away from others. But Thunderbolt can be really good. If you get off trigger, you can pop a 5k or less cost character on the opponent's board. So let's say it's like a Garatsu. That's just an example I keep using. But you could pop it if you get this off trigger. You can also use 2 Dawn to use this during your match. Thor is kind of like Rad Beam, but it's a little tricky because it's dependent upon your opponent's life. So if your opponent has 2 or less life, this gets 4k power as a counter. So if you're being attacked, you need to leave a Dawn standing to use this, or off of trigger. It'll work fine off trigger without that Dawn. Last one, Amaru, 200 million volts. Amaru, for me, has saved me in so many matchups, especially when it's the last card. It surprises a lot of people. When you pull this card, you need to have 2 cards in hand in order to discard them and then add a card from your deck to your life area. Sometimes what can happen is you could be down to 1 life, you get hit, you pull this. When you do, if you have 2 cards in hand, you discard, boom, you add a card over to your life, and then you activate Enel's ability, you add another card to your life. So now you have 2 lives, and then they have to take you down from those 2, 1 more to try to get lethal. It makes a lot of people really mad. But if you're playing, it's a really good card to see. All right, let's get over to some gameplay. Okay, so we matched up with Doflamingo, Mr. Dofi here. And I think I'm going to keep this hand because I have Ohm, also have Holy. So if on turn 2 I could just, drop Ohm, maybe get another Holy so I get another counter. Also have the Thunderbolt, so I can keep that if I want to drop 2 Dawn. It pop a 5 cost. He's going to swing 8 at Enel. And I will take. I love to take life, get down to 1. One of my favorite things. I got a Shura here, so we got a Searcher option. I'm going to drop that Ohm so I can get Holy out there. So no Holy here. And I do rearrange my cards sometimes. Dropping out Holy. Thankfully, we have Tomato as well in our hand. Swinging 5 at Dofi. And he took. Swinging, coming out swinging on Enel. 6 to 5. Gonna take. Got the Shirahoshi. So draw 3, discard 2. 2 more of our little doggos there. Got the Thunderbolt as well. Don't really need it. Don't really need 2 Holies. So I discarded those, trashed those. And I wasn't watching. This is something you always want to watch when you're playing against purple deck. If they drop Law, you got 7 or more cards, they get to discard 2 of your cards. So that's my bad. But I still feel like it's going to be okay. What to do? Send an Ohm out again. I can drop another Holy. Get a nice wide board here. And try to make him sweat a little bit. So once you're at 2 life, Ohm is able to swing for 6. So I just, adding 1 down to him. So I'm swinging for 7. See what he does. Probably has a lot of counters. So he's going to counter out with 3k. And swinging with Holy for 6. And then I will swing again with Enel. See what he does. Just trying to chip away at his life. Fast as I can at this point. And he's not using the blocker, which is interesting. He's probably getting ready for me to drop something bigger, like the Tomato, or an Enel, or Katakuri. And he sends out Baby 5. Now, Baby 5, you can rest this character, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and so this searcher they can use on any turn because it says activate main. So for me, I want to get rid of that card. I don't want them to have the option to just, you know, cycle through their deck really, really fast. Good for them, bad for me. Tomato? Not yet. Oh, and he's swinging 7 at Holy. Interesting. And I will take that. He's swinging 7 at Ohm, and I want to keep Ohm because he can swing for 6. Better than Holy. Pull the Cracker. Good thing about the double attack. Yeah, good thing about the double attack. But I'm gonna send out Geratsu and pop that Baby 5. Get that out of here. 3 more Dawn. And swing, swing, swing. Swinging 7. See what he does. I'm not that familiar with Doflamingo, so at least what he would have in his hand. Swing 7 again. Just poking him. See what he's got. Takes again. Swinging with the puppy. 6 at lead. What you gonna do, buddy? Book life again. Interesting. Now he should use the blocker, but he bounced out. So typically we say GG, but I don't know. Could be a newer player, or maybe he just doesn't do that. Looks like he had some cards to counter out with. So I'm not sure exactly what was going on, but I'll take that as a win. That's cool. So I was kind of curious why he didn't use the blocker there, but he probably just saw the board, how wide it was, and figured there's nothing he could really do to get out of it, so he bounced. Well, Crazy Crew, that's going to be our first win for the channel. So that's pretty exciting. If there are any other leaders you want to see me build decks for, or anything else you want explained, feel free to drop something in the comments. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I'm going to continue posting these videos. I really, really love One Piece, the anime, the game, the card game. And I love playing at locals, in the sim, all that. So getting more people into the hobby is my goal, and helping people out is also my goal. It's also what I do in life as a profession. But hope you're all doing well, and take care. We'll see you next time. Peace out. Peace.